Alright, good evening po sa inyong lahat at welcome na naman sa isang edisyon po ng Tech Sabado. Siyempre ngayon ay Saturday night, so dyan lang po kayo. Welcome sa mga nanonood sa atin online, especially sa YouTube and ating Facebook pages. Okay, Jing Garcia po ng TechSabado.com and of course the Manila Times. Introduce ko po ang ating co-host dito. For over 10 years na po ng Tech Sabado, kasama ko to. Walang iba kundi si Atty.
Melvin Calimag po. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Nandito tayo ngayon, Jing, sa first time natin dito sa Galleria Lagman na courtesy of our good friend, Mr. Gas Lagman.
Medyo hip tayo ngayon dahil sa poblasyon tayo, no?
Oo nga.
Pero ito ay isang art gallery at saka may ginagawang bagong bar dito sa tabi po ng gallery ni Sir Gas Lagman. So, mapapansin niyo po, ngayong gabi kulang tayo ng isang co-host si Tito Tribdino. Ngayon po ay nagko-cover po abroad para po sa Tech Sabado. And of course, the Manila Times. Pero maganda po ang usapan natin ngayong gabi. Meron po tayong guest, syempre. Papakilala natin as one of the IT veteran na to.
Oo. Dati natin kasama sa tech journalism.
Yes, tech journalism. At the same time, founder siya ng CyberPress.
So,
diba?
Founding president ng CyberPress.
CyberPress back in 1995. So, ayan po. Ngayong gabi, pag-usapan natin iba naman, hindi po tungkol sa tech journalism pag-usapan natin, kung hindi tungkol po sa cybersecurity. So, pakilala
privacy.
And privacy,
Data
syempre.
privacy.
Oo. So, ang pangalan po niya, si Sam Jacoba. Siya po ay isang practicing data protection officer. He is the founding president of the National Association of Data Protection Officer of the Philippines, o tinatawag na NADPOP. Yes, the Philippines' first association of data privacy, data protection, cybersecurity, and GRC professionals. Sam is an active pioneer of the ASEAN Japan Cybersecurity Community Alliance, or AJCA. AJCCA, okay. A Japan-based non-profit organization which envisions a cyber-resilient Asia. Yan. So, ngayong gabi, isang oras natin kausapin si Sam tungkol sa cybersecurity and of course, privacy protection. Let's welcome Sam Jacoba.
Yeah, thank you, Jing and Melvin. 10 years in the making to, no?
Oo. Ay, hindi ka ba nagkano sa amin doon sa TV5?
Online lang. Nalala ko.
Yes.
Pero wala yung live, di ba? Kasi nga Sabado ng gabi, live eh. So,
okay.
Live din to okay. Salamat, maraming salamat at nandito tayo. And sa mga nasa YouTube at mga nasa Facebook, magandang umaga, magandang hapon, magandang gabi, nasan man kayo sa buong mundo.
O Jing, ito, rockstar din to si ano?
Of course.
Yung dating banda to.
Sam...
Iba yun sa Friday night.
Sam can swim.
Sam must swim.
Idol
ko si Jing.
Yes. Pero bago lahat, si Sam nakilala ko si Sam as a founding member of CyberPress. Ito po yung organization ng mga cyber journalists, mga tech journalists ng araw. So, kwento mo sa amin muna sa yung background mo from your tech journalism years at paano ka napunta sa behind technology. Talagang yan lang. Diyan tayo mag-start para makilala na kung sino ka. Then we'll talk about yung forte mo ngayon about cybersecurity.
Pinag-usapan nga naman ni Melvin, I come from a family of lawyers. So yung parents ko parehong abogado. My mom in her prime became the governor ng IDP, Central Luzon. So the first female So governor. I have 3 brothers na abogado rin, tapos isang sister na abogado. So ba't hindi ako naging lawyer, no? So meron ako naging roommate nung college na ComSci. And kami lang yung sa dorm, dati sa UP.
Saan to? Sa Kalayaan?
Sa UP pa. Sa Yakal.
Yakal? Oh,
sa Yakal.
Nag-Yakal din ako.
Yakal ka rin, di ba? So kami lang ang merong PC noon at that time. Ayoko nang sabihin kung kailan yun na. Pero so pagka wala siya sa door, ako yung gumagamit. Kasi magaling siya magturo.
Pero wala pa internet noon?
Wala pa. Hindi ko alam kung may dial-up. May mga bulletin boards na.
BBS.
At that time, may BBS na yun. So, tinuruan niya ako mag-program. C pa nun eh. So, tapos naging C++, tapos later on C#. Gumawa kami ng game. Develop kami. One of the first things. Kasi yun na naman talaga yung entry mo eh. Most of the time, it's through a game, Tapos nun, yun, tinuro na, lahat ng fundamentals. Kumbaga, sa galing niya magturo, lahat ng tinuturo sa kanya sa klase, tinuturo sa akin. At that time, communication ang major ko sa journalism. Kaya paglabas ko ng college, yun na, computer times. So one of the first pioneers, kasama ko si Leo, saka si CJ. So Leo Magdo and CJ Hilotin. So tatlo kami. And then later on si Betty Daggio, yung mga pioneers sa computer times. And then we
Pero pwedeng prelo yun, ha?
Pwede.
Oh, diba?
Actually, kahit engineering pwede. Pero yun nga, napakalakas ng allure ng tech diba?
Ito yung computer times na under the Manila Times nung nasa Roses pa,
Hindi.
ba?
Actually, it's owned by Philip Tribdino, married to Diana Roses.
Okay.
One of the Roses clan. Pero it's not
Sir Ando, yes.
Inspired by
Okay.
Manila Times yung name.
Pero ito yung nasa Roses pa
Sa
sila.
isang Scout Santiago.
Scout Santiago, yung warehouse pa itsura nung di ba?
Sinando yung imprenta.
Yes.
Doon yun. So, pagka gumagawa kami ng it's a IT tabloid di ba? 11/70. Dadalhin na namin sa likod.
Nandun nga yung imprenta
Yung
naman.
negative. Yung negative. Doon namin ginagawa. So, yun. That's kumbaga, the start of my tech journalism career.
So, ano ka na? Nahigop ka na ng vortex. Hindi ka na makalawala.
Hindi na talaga kasi once the bug has bitten you, di ba? Alam naman yun. And that's those are very exciting times kasi
sisimula pa yung tech na, no?
90s,
Nagbubuong pa lang.
mid-90s.
Exciting times
90s yun, no? 91 yun nung nasa Computer Times ako. And then we made a big move after that kasi nakita namin na every time we go to a press conference, pinapansin ng mga kasi nga tabloid ka di ba? Parang or you're a niche publication, gano'n. Tapos yung mga kasamang business reporters, etc. Parang nakikita namin, teka, we're at par with these guys, but we're in the frontier that they are not yet covering. So after 3 years, nag-move kami. Ako si Leo sa si CJ sa Today newspaper.
Today,
Teddy Boy.
One of the earliest newspaper na may tech page.
Actually, kami nagdala ng tech page noon. Wala silang tech
So
page.
the first?
Yes, na broadsheet.
Broadsheet na may tech page.
Wow. Yun yung
trivia yan, ha? Hindi natin alam yan.
Susulat natin yan dapat.
Ganun.
Infotech ang pangalan niya. And again, kudos to Teddy Boy Locsin, my boss. And Jarius Pondok was the editor din.
Si Jarius Pondok.
Saka si Sir Ping, pagkati sa
Galang,
yes. So siya yung, kumbaga kasi sa business kumabit Siya naging editor namin. Pero ano kami doon? We're like block timers. Hindi kami employed lang today. It's like we're buying space. It's like parang we're entrepreneurs na at that time pala. Ano? Kasi hindi kami employed lang today but we have our own page and every week naglalabas kami. Correspondingly, parang nag-double hat kami noon. We have to also, quote-unquote, sell advertising. Kasi kailangan Meron siyang parang 30-70. So 30% of ads can merit you a full page. So doon nagsimula yan. Then later on, in-adapt na nila. Kumbaga,
yung page.
Yung Infotech, And then, si Leo nagpunta ng Inquirer. NQ7. Si CJ nagpunta ng Dubai. And ako, yung kila Enteng, bumalik ako sa tech advisor. So, doon yung tech. At the same time, nakita namin that we need to professionalize the journalism beat, no? Kaya sabi namin, teka, in order for us to be taken seriously, we cannot do it on our own. Dapat we should band together. So, at that time, nag-emerge na after today, lumabas na yung Inquirer, yung Bulletin, naglabas na Star, etc. Naglabas na yung mga tech page kasi they saw the need for it. And at the same time, talaga, they have to embrace it nakita na nila. So yun ang naging start ng CyberPress. And we were officially inducted by then President Ramos.
Yes. May picture tayo dun sa CyberPress page. Sa Facebook page.
Yung better half mo nandun, si Mel. So, kasi si Mel and Myra, they were the first
and
two.
Jing.
Si Jing later on.
Later na si Jing.
Jing's after I left na. Pero ang talagang unang ninang ng CyberPress, si Mel, saka si Myra.
Mel Dominguez and Myra Salmosa.
And my wife na. Yung mga taga-gastos. And may isa pa, si Tarny Perkins. Yung Coffee California, we used to meet there. When we were forming CyberPress, maraming umaampon sa atin ng mga coffee shops or BTR na sasagot ng pagkain. Kasi di ba, hirap So medyo matagal yun, yung process na yun. Pero eventually, we were able to get that sort of an imprimatur from the President that yes, technology is here to stay. And tawag natin doon kay President Ramos, IT champion. Yun na kasi kailangan talaga at that time to have an IT champion in government. To drive, at that time, adoption pa lang, di ba? automation pa lang at that time ang tawag natin doon sa ano, or computerization for that matter. So yun, and then from there, nung ikakasal na ako, sabi ng wife ko, hindi mo ako mapapakain sa salary ng reporter. Kasi pag nag-date kami, yung mga vouchers na mabigay na ano.
Mga GC.
GC lang.
Mga GC na giveaway sa mga press con.
Otherwise, turo-turo ka lang madadala yung wife ko. Pero meron tayong GC, meron tayong premier ticket. Diba, ganun naman ang buhay ng reporter nun. So, yun nga. In-invite ako ni Mike Card to join Microsoft. I became the 10th employee. Hindi ko naman iniwan
Microsoft Philippines.
in the Philippines. Hindi ko naman iniwan si CyberPress kasi I kept in touch, etc. But, those were the days. At that time, yung pag nag-exhibit ang tech industry, lahat ng hotel sa Makati ko I don't know if you remember that. Yung Comdap, di ba? Yung ITFP. The tech then was growing. And it was a bit niche kasi nga, you really need to have technology skills and appreciation for the solutions din, no? Mainframe, mid-range, etc. Yung PC, pag ano na no? Maangat na yung...
At saka nun, marami pang trade pubs like Computer Times, IT
Computer World.
Update,
Computer World.
Psycom.
Magkakalaban yan nung araw.
Kasi niche pa nga It's just a growing industry. Pero nung pumutok na talaga yung internet, yung technology, wala na Ano na?
Nag-saturate na yung market
Yung tech section na lahat.
Ang dami pang tech magazines nun. Gadgets, Speed.
Naglabasan yan.
Tapos may T3 pa naglabas mga later. Ang dami nun. Yung mga trade magazines na lumabas at the same time yung mga newspaper. Tapos lahat ng mga lahat ng mga diaryo may kanya-kanya lang may kanya-kanya lang tech page. Like the Manila Times may Tech Times, yung Inquirer merong Infotech section. Tapos at the same time nagkaroon ng merger ng joint venture ng IQ7 saka GMA kaya nagkaroon ng INQ7. And that was one of the top online publication nung mga time na yon. Okay, sa pagbabalik po ng Tech Sabado, kausapin na natin si Sam regarding his new endeavor sa kanyang buhay na protektahan ang ating cyberspace. Babalik po ang Tech Sabado. Back dito sa Tech Sabado and of course mula kanina pinag-usapan na namin na naman ang medyo history ulit ng Philippine tech, pero this time yung history mismo ni Sam Jacoba who is now a cybersecurity expert. So pag-uusapan from being a tech journalist, naging siya he went to technology. Actually nag-Yahoo corporate from Microsoft, nag-Yahoo ka pa. Intel, yes, of course. Yes. So these are the biggest tech companies globally at that time, So ngayon, mas pinoproblema mo na ngayon cybersecurity. So let's talk about that. Pero before natin pag-usapan yung yung mga initiatives na ginagawa ng mga grupo nyo, I just want to know an overall perspective of what's happening dito sa cybersecurity sa Pilipinas. what is the state of cybersecurity or resilience ng Pilipinas compared to other countries, especially in ASEAN region?
Yeah, so there's a global cybersecurity index that's published every 2 or 3 years by the ITU, International Telco Union. Yung 2024 report, that's the latest one. The Philippines actually inched above, no? Almost tier 1, which means that across all 5, there are 5 pillars from yung law, legal pillar, capacity building, partnerships, etc. So it's good that we were able to advance, and the key reason that they said it happens because we were able to pass yung National Cybersecurity Plan 2020-2028. So time to ni Tech Ivan po And then based on that, we were able to have at least a legal framework. So currently, there's no cybersecurity law in the Philippines yet. It's being discussed right now in the Senate and lower house. Hopefully, mapass. so in terms of overall resilience, if you're going to use that as a bench, we are improving. But the question is it enough? Because if we will match or the Philippines with its ASEAN neighbors now, we're around 5th or 6th in terms of cybersecurity readiness as far as the GCI is concerned, the global cybersecurity. So on the top, Singapore, you have Malaysia, you have Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam. Even I can forward to you the report. But then again, those are what they call it. Sometimes people call it paper indicators.
What do you mean by paper indicators?
Meaning, on paper, it looks good.
Okay.
But if you will look under the hood, you need to see what's there. So, we're part of the ASEAN-Japan, di ba? Cybersecurity Community Alliance. It was formed October 2023 in Tokyo by 9 ASEAN communities of practice, as we call it, TechSabado. I'm the Vice President of TechSabado. It was the one of the founding communities of ASEAN-Japan. And every quarter, we meet regularly. We are the private sector counterpart of our government counterparts. So Japan hosts that meeting every quarter. It goes around the region. Next month, in June, it will be in Brunei. Our first meeting for this year was in KL. We can see there the security investments of our other ASEAN neighbors, no? And sa benchmark, yung Cybersecurity Bureau here in the Philippines, which is one of the bureaus in PLDT handling cybersecurity in the Philippines, it's just one small group in the National Cybersecurity Agency of Singapore. And for Vietnam, for example, we say we need a lot of engineers in the Philippines, right? Sila direct in practice. There's a lot of PhDs there that we meet, Russian trained. Yeah, really, on cybersecurity. So, people alone and the resources, I haven't yet checked the budget vis-a-vis other ASEAN countries. We need to really invest more in cybersecurity, and there's a lot of space. The DBM, for example, last year have mandated that at least 15% of the tech budget in government should be allocated to cybersecurity. I don't know. There's no one monitoring it at that stage. And the
15% of what?
Of the tech budget.
Hindi, pero magkano ba tech budget?
It depends, no? So it depends on the agency. So for
Okay.
example, their budget is 1 billion. So at least 150 million should
Per agency to.
Yeah, that's the guidelines.
Okay,
So
per agency.
again, it's
Sorry.
a DBM guidelines.
Oo.
That's what they follow there. Si Yusek Saas ang nag-drive ng cyber sa amin sila. So there's a lot that needs to be done. Capacity building, this is one of the pillars of the GCI. The benchmark there is how many certified cybersecurity professionals do we have. Yung ISSP, for example, listed mga 220 in the Philippines, but kalahati doon nasa abroad, Elvid. So, yung typical, yung brain drain talaga. Because you're going to be poached by, so once you get registered, you will appear in the global database of certified professionals. Alam naman nila magaling ang Pilipino. So, ipa-poach ka talaga ng mga global companies, dito ka na, etc. Sometimes,
Mas malaki sweldo.
Di ba talaga mahihindi?
Times 3, times 4.
So, how to solve that is that you need to really train a lot of cyber professionals. But the challenge is, ang taas ng barrier to entry. Ang mahal ng cybersecurity training and certification programs yan, easily $2,000. Similar din sa data privacy, yung ino-offer ng American certification companies, nahina $3,000 to.
Wow.
Ma-afford ba natin ng mga Pilipino yung gano'n, especially now, no? Humihina yung peso against the dollar. So maraming kailangan gawin. Yung nga, sinabi ko na, yung sa batas, we need the cybersecurity law. Because our current cybersecurity bureau is just a small agency within the ICT. In other countries, major agency na nag-handle ng cybersecurity for the respective countries. Hopefully, again, the law will pass. It becomes a priority bill because it will create the National Cybersecurity Agency for the Philippines. The tenor will change. If you have a major agency there reporting directly to the president, everything will change.
So, hindi idea, itong yung current setup wherein yung cybersecurity, CICC,
Different CICC. So, they're doing their best naman. So, yung CICC handles cybercrime. Oh, which is different from cybersecurity. Oh, so, although they collaborate with each
Di
other.
ba may cybersecurity bureau yung JCP?
Yung ngayon, CSB. Oh, pero again, kulang sila ng tao, kulang sila ng resources with what's needed to protect the Philippines. Sinayos nga namin ni Ninong Dito Aberia, di ba? Si Ninong Dito is the godfather of Philippine cybersecurity, founder ng PhD. We need at least 180,000
people.
Cybersecurity professionals to secure the country.
Right now ba, ano?
Yung 200 na certified. But again,
200?
Ang globally certified. But marami namang magagalingin na hindi certified or decide not to go to certification. But then again, it validates it. Di ba? What validates your skill? It's a third party, global entity that has been doing it for the longest time. How will you know if you're world class? Then benchmark yourself against the world. Ganun yun. So, sure magaling ka. May mga hindi talaga nagpapacertify na magagaling. But we said, kailangan mo-validate pa rin. So, yung 180,000, simple math lang yun. On the average, there are around 1.8 million micro, small, and medium enterprises in the Philippines. Ngayon, Jing, ito, Melvs, I'd like to flip the argument, kasi we still measure the size of companies based on revenue, di ba? Di pa na revenue. But in the digital age, it should be measured based on the data and digital assets that they have.
Oh, okay.
So, di ba, for example, I met a mom and pop shop. Nagka-telemarket sila. Database sila 1.2 million.
Tama, yeah.
So, paano pagka na-breach yung 1.2 million? Kawawa na yung mag-asama nila, di ba? Atty. Melvin, di ba? Yung kanilang liability. So, there's a lot of things that need to be done. Yung mga enterprise level companies at global companies, wala nang problema yan. They have all of the resources.
Yes. Tama.
Even in government, yung mga malalaking agencies, walang problema yan. But if you will look at it from the lens of micro, small, and medium, based on the size, right? Number of people, resources, and ito na, dadagdag ko yung layer na sinabi ko, yung amount of data, digital information, kasama yung personal information. Dagdag ko pa yung mga digital researches na intellectual property ng pag-aari ng Pilipinas, di ba? Are we protecting those? So dapat ma-flip na yun we've been calling for the government to come up with a national registry of digital assets across all para makita mo ko talaga kung saan yung puprotektahan mo. And I think the onus is on the regulator for industry. So for example,
which is the DICT?
Yung tinatawag natin na critical information infrastructure. These are the ecosystems that can cause havoc if they are attacked or they go down. Nakita niyo nangyari sa Ukraine saka sa Iran, di ba? Those two wars. The cyber warfare hits first before the kinetic warfare. Yung sa Iran, kitang-kita yung mga critical infra. What are they? Power. Di ba? Tinigilan ng US. Telco. Sumunod, di ba? Communications. And then yung kanilang social media, tinigilan niyan, di ba? And ano yung pinenetrate? Yung CCTV.
Di ba? Yes.
Para mag-spy. And previous to that, yun sila mga hacks. Mamaya, i-flip ko rin yung ating karaban natin sa Philippines. So, with all of those information, nakita nyo na we need to protect our critical information infrastructure. Right? Sino may-ari ng NGCP?
Chinese.
Medyo ibang usapan yun.
Hindi, pero it's related to cyber. Kasi unseen to most of us, there's cyber warfare happening already.
Yes. Actually, gusto ko na i-mention, yung na-mention mo ngayon sa Iran, yung critical infrastructure na tinira na. Tama, telecoms. Kasi kung mapapansin nyo, ang propaganda ng Iran is coming from their embassies from other countries. Not necessarily coming from Iran, the country itself. Kung saan yung communications lumuhay pa.
Correct.
Like sa Africa, kunwari, yung embassy of Iran in Zimbabwe, yun ang nagpapadala ngayon ng mga propaganda materials online, no. Tapos na-mention mo pa yung yung isang critical point na nabanggit mo, yung SME, na sila yung vulnerable when it comes to cybersecurity. Kasi correct me if I'm wrong, no, nung nagkaroon ng internet, na-democratize kasi ang enterprises, ang mga paggawa ng business, na-democratize yan. Nagkaroon ng time na, there was a time na, like for example, sabihin ko na, AWS, di ba? Bigla silang nagkaroon ng marketing approach na, ito, gamitin yung AWS, sa cloud ang data ninyo, hindi nyo na kailangan ng IT people. Kinagat ng mga SME yan, kasi mostly SME talaga kakagat dyan. Kasi wala silang pambayad ng IT people, no? Hindi katulad ng mga enterprise, they can build their own, their own cloud, or they can manage their own cloud for their data. Tapos they can actually hire or subscribe to a bigger cloud provider na mas yung security. Pero ito, like for example, AWS, target niya mga, even sa US, di ba? SME, mga small, medium business. Tapos ang marketing nga, especially, you don't need IT people for to manage us. Yun ang kinagat ng SME, tapos ngayon silang vulnerable. Tama ba yung observation ko?
Yeah, correct. Tapos may AI pa. I mean, you have to add AI also into the equation. Kasi AI can augment din yung mga, especially mga one-person corporation, mga two-person corporation, yung mga mom-and-pop na, sinasabi ko, no? And you're correct, it didn't just democratize, it globalized Philippine business. You can now go for the global market. So, when it comes to, as I said, vulnerability, kasi nga, since you have limited bandwidth, wala ka ng time, if you're registered in the Philippines, for example, to fully comply with the Data Privacy Act, which is basic. By the way, this week is Privacy Awareness Week, and the National Privacy Commission is celebrating its 10th year. Congratulations to the NPC. Wala akong ngayon doon, hahabol ako mamaya. But then, privacy na lang, Jing, Melvs. I'll segue later to CyberBayan. We went to the provinces. I won't mention its province. Unlike here in the Philippines, di ba? In Metro Manila, nakikita mo yung mga keyhole, no? Ni NPC. Which means that at least the company that has that keyhole has complied with the requirements of the NPC to register their data processing systems, their DPO, etc. Ganun yun eh. At the surface, it's paper compliance. I don't know if the NPC follows up probably, sa mga probinsya, wala kang nakikitang keyhole. Wala pa. Hindi pa ganun kadami. So, which means that, ito yung lead natin, most of the resources government focus on big cities, especially Metro Manila, and the big cities and provinces. So, wala pa yung punta ron. LGUs, for example. If you go to, punta ka na lang sa barangay office, mga barangay. I don't see that keyhole yet, no? I don't know kung sa report ng bagong commissioner kung meron siya, he's going to deliver. This morning, he delivered the report eh. But we'll see, there's still a lot of things to be done. And when you say vulnerability, it's not just about compliance with the law. Micro, small, medium enterprise are also vulnerable. Yung DTI plan to, it's been pushed through, di ba? Na to mag-pre-register ka bago mo prior restraint, no? But ang dami talaga nilang challenges here. So, but some of them, they can opt to go to another country and register their business there. So, kawawa naman tayo, yung tax code punta sa ibang bansa. Because we are not really taking care of them the way that they should be taken care of. To be ready for the digital and AI economy that's
coming. Okay, babalik po ang Tech Sabado. More about cybersecurity and data privacy protection with Sam Jacoba. Maya-maya lang.
Hello, I'm Melvin Calimag of Newsbytes.ph.
Jing Garcia of the Manila Times.
Raymund Tribdino, Tito Tribs ng Manila Times at ng cleantechnica.com.
Please like,
Share,
Follow Tech Sabado
Tech Sabado.
Tech Sabado.
sa YouTube at Facebook.
We're back dito sa Tech Sabado and we're still talking to Sam Jacoba, talking about cybersecurity, resilience ng Pilipinas, and of course, data privacy protection nating lahat. Gusto kong i-segue natin sa isang bagong initiative. Is this a new initiative? And bago mo ikwento yung bagong initiative, saan ba nanggaling yung yung endeavor mo regarding cybersecurity and data protection? Saan ba talaga nag-start yan?
If you notice, I love building communities. In fact, bata pa lang ako, nag-build na ako communities. At that time, they call it clubs, or gang pagka mga lalaki. I think I got it from my mom. My mom's sa social philanthropist. Active nga siya sa IDP. It's one of her advocacies. She is also active with the Optimist Society. In Brescia, they established this yung home for mga abandoned women. So, kita ko yung
tawag doon? Optimist?
Optimist. Sa association ng mga female philanthropist.
Okay.
So, nakita ko yung mom ko na really giving a portion of herself and giving back to the community or paying it forward. So, that's why kasi kahit CyberPress tawag nga namin dito ngayon, pro bono, abono like you. So,
Nakita mo na call pro bono, abono.
pro bono, abono yan talaga. Because there comes a time when you really have to share your blessings to others. Much is given, much is required. So, dito naman yung mga community side part of, so on top of NADPOP, I was also founding vice chair ng Cloud Security Alliance Philippines. And with Ryan T. sila doon sa current president. Pro-bono rin yun. CSA is the global company focusing on cloud, or global organization focusing on cloud. You have CyberPress, and now saka na natin kukwento yung next edition of CyberPress. And I think there will really come a point in time when you will know where you are needed most. And my involvement in cybersecurity started dito nga, inviting me. Sam, mag-active ka na. Kasi, for the past 12 years, nagkikita lang kami dyan. Sige ko, okay, tulong-tulong ganun. With Abet. Abet is a co-founder.
Abet de la Cruz.
Kasama ko sa Microsoft. And I really saw the need. And sabi ko, nakita ko, kawawa yung mga children natin. And there are children's children. If we will just allow the Philippines to be hacked left and right. Diba? So, that's why, I said yes to Ninong dito. And then, became active with PHCert and now with ADCC. And sinasabing initiative na Jing. So, last year, since sabi ko, ang dami kong mga non-profit parang can we consolidate it into one? Kasi standing alone in data privacy saka cybersecurity, parang kulang. Sabi ko, there has to be more. Sabi ko, pagka-secure ng Philippines, pag-resilient na siya, what should be the end goal? And the end goal came to me recently before our Manila Times session. Na we want cyber prosperity for the Philippines. That for everyone to be individuals, organizations, to be cyber prosperous, which will lead nga, yung next stage nun is for the Philippines to be a first world digital nation. So, yun. So, we launched the CyberBayan movement last year. Although, nagkaroon kami ng major hiccup doon. Initially, when we launched it April last year, the focus was securing digital lives. Nandun pa rin sa security Hindi pa nakakatawid dun sa cyber resilience and prosperity. But yun nga, because of our experience there, I'll compare it in another story. We have to step back and really rethink what needs to be done so that the whole country will be prosperous in this day and age of AI and digital. So yun nga, kaya we're going to relaunch CyberBayan, hopefully maging partner si Tech Sabado. So with that really, our vision is for the Philippines to be a first world digital nation.
Pareho tayo ng goal.
Yes.
Yan na natin. Kaya okay yung partnership, no problem. Sa Tech Sabado. So, CyberBayan, what is this and ano ba itutulong nito sa ating bayan?
So, CyberBayan, to achieve that vision, the first pillar is we're going to hyper-focus on people. Kasi people really make the difference. Sa tech, diba? People, process, and tech yan, yung triage natin. Because we believe that people are the strongest and weakest link. So, among the people, we're going to focus on creating cyber leaders. Or let me add, ethical cyber leaders. Cyber leader ka nga, magaling ka nga, pero wala kang ethics. It can cause a lot of trouble, diba? And with that, we created a 10-point competency and institutional framework. Pero naman ginagawa namin palagi, we focus on competency framework para sure to follow it. And at the heart of that is ethics and integrity. But kasama na yan, there's digital transformation, there's AI, etc. There's governance and compliance as part of the 10-point framework. And that same framework, we're calling it CLEAR, Cyber Leadership Ethics Resilience Framework. Inadapt na rin siya ni AGCCA sa ASEAN, Japan. And right now, we have an ongoing survey on cyber leadership. So, we'd like to know first, di ba, dapat alam mo muna kung ano yung nasa, you should know what's there before you can act strategically. So, that hyper-focus on people. Then secondly, nga, minention ka na, we need to hyper-secure critical information infrastructure. Ito yung mga ecosystem sa Philippines. I mentioned already. So, power, for example. Hopefully, collaborate with DOE to secure. Kasi sa power industry, you don't just have IT there. You have operational technology also, di ba? Vulnerable din yung mga OT natin dyan sa mga power plants. So, you have power, you have telco. Healthcare is also a critical infrastructure pag bumagsak yan. In the Philippines, we have a unique one, BPOs. Kasi it's an economic pillar. No? And lately, we've been seeing na kailangan din palang protektahan ang ating disaster recovery.
Talaga.
Oo, kasi nga, madalas tayong tamaan ng bagyo.
Sa bagay, that's true.
Yun. And then,
Lahat yata kailangan protektahan.
Hindi naman, you can select lang. Pero normally, fintech is there, definitely, no? Kasi finances. Yung sa top 3 yan, fintech, telco, and power. Yung tatlo na yan, they have to be always protected. Pero may mga unique cases. Ang isa pang unique case sa Philippines, Jing, Melvin, critical for the country, election.
Always.
So, yung mga unique, And currently, we're working with the CSD for an ASEAN Critical Information Infrastructure Survey. So makikita natin ang lagay ng mga, again, wala pa itong mga information na ito Karamihan, you have to pick it up. So hopefully, with these two surveys, so you have an institutional survey on critical information infrastructure and the people survey on cyber leadership, you'll be able to see now where the Philippines stand. Okay? And the third pillar there is that we need partners. Like in TechSabado, Manila Times, no? And of course, Newsbytes.ph, a favorite, to be able to tell the story of CyberBayan and bring it to all over the Philippines. Underneath the ecosystem CII is what we call hyperlocal engagement. We plan to set up provincial communities of CyberBayan. Meron na sa Nueva Ecija doon ng pilot called CyberBayan. And then there are several provinces that we're talking to. Like,
sino yung lalapitan nyo?
Normally,
Initially?
We partner with, kung may ICT Council, we talk to the ICT Council.
Okay. The local.
Kung merong schools na interested.
Okay.
We really partner with yung may shared values ganun sa in the community and really are passionate in uplifting their respective provinces, in this digital age and age of AI. So far naman, and mahirap mag-scale ng mabilis kung wala kang budget. Bubulunan kami, may day jobs din naman tayo. But that's the hope that in 3 to 5 years, yung goal na sinabi ko, 180,000 sa cyber leaders to be trained. And then at least in 3 to 5 years, we'll have 82 CyberBayan chapters or communities in the provinces. And hopefully, we'll be able to secure at least yung top 3 or 4 critical information infrastructure. Magkaroon na ng mga best practices. Magkaroon na ng mga playbooks, for example, that they can do. Magkakascale. For example, yung power na lang, Jing, Melvin, yung community yan. Sa probinsya, may mga independent power, di ba?
Yes.
Either yung mga co-ops. Nandun. So, ang dami yung kailangan talaga tulungan to be cyber ready, to be cyber resilient, and ultimately nga maging cyber prosperous. All leading to the Philippines. Ang term namin kasi, so, first create cyber leaders. Cyber leadership leads to cyber resiliency, which will lead to cyber security, and then cyber prosperity. Yung fifth one, we call it cyber supremacy. Yun na yung first for digital nation. Pwede natin pag-usapan yung components na mamaya siguro, pero yun ang direction ni CyberBayan ngayon. So relaunch targeting September. But right now, we're already signing the partnerships and then going around again telling people this new vision of CyberBayan.
Usually, ano yung first steps para for this initiative? Kaya nandun ka na sa mga kausap mo, ano yung unahin yung gagawin mo na?
First, you need to, natuto na kami, dapat meron talagang written agreement na may NDA and at least a commitment to journey together. Sana at least 2 years, huwag yung mga 1 year, yung hirap kasi nun. And we already are proposing a plan. May phase 1, phase 2, phase 3.
Oh, okay.
Ganun na yan, meron, nakalatag na siya. So like in the provinces, parang sabi nga ni Tips Manuel, no? So also one chair ng NADPOP, parang franchise model to. Sabi ko precisely Titus, but yung franchise model is just the foundation. Kasi each province has a unique characteristic. Alam mo dating kay Carissa yung one town, one product. Yan. Top. So one province, for example, like Nueva Ecija, agricultural. Nandun yung Carabao Center sa Nueva Ecija, which has to be protected kasi ang dami ng IP ng Carabao Research. Di ba? Ang sarap ng mozzarella cheese doon. Or if you go to, for example, Dumaguete, di ba? Let's go to Coastal Island and University Island. Iba-iba yung focus na. Iloilo, for example, ang daming digital nomads sa Iloilo. So how do you harness that talent? Kaya each province is unique. And at the same time, they can be competitive also globally. They can decide, for example, lahat ng creators natin dito. Like in Baguio, there's a strong creator community there sa Baguio. And active din yung kanilang ICT Council. No? So they can harness that collectively. So kami tutulong lang. We're going to go in, not but form that community. And hopefully, they learn from each other and then support each other. Makakita ka ng synergies dyan once you bring your family, the community together.
Yung province na dapat mong unahin?
Well, kailangan pa rin strengthen si Metro Manila.
Oh, okay.
Kasi 80+% of our digital assets, I believe, reside here in terms of economic impact. 60-70%, di ba?
So the major cities muna, like Cebu, Davao?
Yes, doon. Pero I believe over-invested na Ang sabi ko nga, where are the digital assets that we need to protect? I think that should be the first question that we would want to ask. Di ba? Para yung approach mo sa TG, hindi yung shoot anywhere ka lang. You look at it. Again, you're looking at the economic viability. Pero wala pa tayong study yan. Where are the digital assets in the Philippines that have to be protected? That's what we're trying to find out.
Pwede ba yung DICT may
I think,
New Wave City sila niya tawag?
Pwede yun Pero,
BPO yun.
For BPO nga. Pero I mean, yun na siguro. Pwede mo
like I mentioned intellectual property. And you can segment digital assets several ways. First yun, sa IP. Where are the critical intellectual properties in the Philippines that are digitized that can be stolen by other countries for their competitive advantage? Minention ko yung Carabao Center in the Philippines that like decades of research, for example, that have to be protected, di ba? Secondly, yung creative industries mo sa Pilipinas. So, we have a lot of creatives doing their own work, etc. How do you protect it? And yung third, yung not just yung creative, yung service industry.
Service industry, BPO.
Oo, yun. So yung assets niyan. So, siguro tingin ko, multi-department talaga yan. It can be DTI, di ba? It can be like the property office, etc. But we need that registry. Nasa yung mga poprotektahan natin. At huwag natin i-share sa kalaban, kasi pwedeng mahakit. And how are they protected now? Ganun lang, it starts there. You need to know what's out there first bago ka magkaroon ng strategic plan to protect all of this. So right now, ang madaling protektahan tao. Diba? Where are our biggest databases? Nasa atin. Diba? And I'm sure nasa government yan, maraming Kasi nga, personal information yun Where do they reside? Madali yung matrace kasi nga, it's anchored on people yung personal information. Mahirap matrace yung mga non-people related na digital assets ng Pilipinas. Crown jewels natin yan So, kaya that has to happen first. Meanwhile, in the absence of that, you need to use current data. And nga, ina-anchor mo sa tao, sa economic activity. Those meron na information na yun. Yung protektahan mo muna. And of course, yung defined na critical information infrastructure, power, telco, utility, BPO nga, fintech, healthcare, etc. Even education is critical. Kasi pinaka-hack na one of the most hacked industries ng education. Daming data kasi sa schools.
Tama. So,
yung priorities na yun. We need to, again, research on what we have and what we need to protect. And everything starts there.
How does this relate or dovetail with your work sa NADPOP?
Sa NADPOP naman, again, NADPOP focuses on privacy.
Data privacy.
And data protection officers. So data governance ang focus ni NADPOP. Kita mo siya kasi it follows where personal information is So normally, ang pinakamalaking personal information sa companies, dalawa, di ba? Yung marketing, database, and HR, database. But it gets critical nagpunta ka sa healthcare, yung patient information. Di ba? Yan na, mahirap na yan. And later on, sa bangko, di ba? Yung depositors information. Ang dami mong kailangan tutukan na pagka na-breach or and then binenta sa dark web or pag na-ransomware, for example. The companies who experience that will have a hard time doing. And of course, the biggest is government. How are they protecting our data? You remember, nakadalawang hack na si Comelec, di ba? 1 and 2. And the PhilHealth was the recent big one. Ano nangyari? Yung natanungan namin, ano nangyari sa mga kaso na si Andy Bautista, we know, sa defendant. Diba? Pero lumipad, nakatake. Sa PhilHealth, pa kami update siya na NPC about those. Ang call nga, mauna muna kayo mag-comply. Nasa gobyerno, di ba? So,
Marami pa ba? Gobyerno?
If you will look at it, again, I mentioned, dapat across all yan. Tingnan mo na lang yung mga LGUs. Again, I mentioned the keyhole, that can be your indicator for compliance. Yung keyhole ni NPC. Tingnan mo kung sino yung LGU or even barangays ang meron ng keyhole. That can be an And may study ba? Again, I go back. May study ba, for example, on how much compliance there is already from the government, both sa Data Privacy Act at sa National Cybersecurity Plan. And more importantly, dapat may oversight. Hindi pwedeng re-report lang nila na ganito kami. Natatanggapin na lang natin basta-basta yan. Dapat may third party na mag-validate. Totoo ba yan? Kasi baka papel lang yan, yung tinatawag natin na paper compliance. Yeah. You know naman, the trust of this government.
Trust us, bro.
Yes.
Di pwedeng ganun lang.
Di pwedeng ganun lang, di ba? Kailangan may third party. That's where our communities can participate. We are impartial, we are non-for-profit, wala tayong commercial interest. We can go in and help them. O ito yan, tama ba yan? Etc. And then may maturity level ka naman, di ba? So from 1 to 5 yan, normally. Yung 5 being the highest, operationally compliant ka. Yung paper, nasa 2.5 to 3 lang yan. Paper compliant ka. Nasubmit mo lahat na requirements sa NPC. Pero again, if you look under the hood, compliant pa talaga yan. Wala ka pang plantilla for DTOs, for example. Nag-double hat yung IT manager o yung legal sa government. Hindi mo gagawa yung trabaho mo talaga. Di ba?
Yung CIO, usually, cybersecurity.
Siya. Minsan, tatlo yun.
DPO,
CIO,
CPO, lahat na,
Hindi naman isa lang sweldo, di ba? Ayun.
Kaya ito din lumilipat kasi nga, tatlong trabaho yun.
Correct.
Oo, mas kaya na po po. Okay po, pagbalik ng Tech Sabado, final take natin about cybersecurity and data privacy with Sam Jacoba. Okay, we're back dito sa Tech Sabado for our final take with Sam Jacoba. May last question lang ako regarding this about cybersecurity and data privacy. There's a very thin line between convenience and security. Paano natin i-break yan? Mga tao kasi gusto ng convenience pero at the risk of security, no?
Everybody has their comfort zone talaga. You're convenient and you are within your comfort zone. And you have two choices, no? Whether if that comfort zone gets broken, either through an incident, cyber incident, or a data breach, are you ready? Di ba? Can you bounce back quickly so that at least you still get to enjoy your comfort zone? Meron akong isi-share na cyber leadership journey for that. Ano? Kasi yung convenience, if you decide to remain there, you will be overtaken by events. You will be irrelevant, especially with the fast pace of technology. So, we crafted this, inspired by 5 P's of cyber leadership. Growth, in most of its forms, starts with a test. Whether it's a personal test, a career test, or even an institutional test, or a test that's deliberately given to you. Like yung data breaches are test, no? Whether it's accidental or deliberate, incidences are also a test, no? And in order for you to overcome that, you need to go to the next thing, which is the truth. See, the test, it's answered by the truth. Now you'll find out, it came here because we were breached because an employee was too tired and sent the email to the wrong recipient. Sa aming database ng company, that's a breach already. Or because we forgot to patch our attack surfaces. The attack came from the edge with an outdated, for example, device. Yun, it can be like that. So, at least you find out the truth because when you find the truth, then you will be able to find the right answers, di ba? So that's the second T. So from the test, the truth will make you pass the test. Then after you have stood on the truth, that's when you're ready to transform as a cyber leader. Because if you will transform with even a half-truth or worse with a lie, just imagine, di ba? Kaya nagkakaroon ng mga hackers na unethical because they base themselves on the lie that they can do whatever that they want and hurt anybody for their own benefit. So, you need to transform anchored on the truth. Okay? So that's the third T, transform. And then, after you transform, the truth will help you to become trustworthy. Doon papasok yung trust. And currently, it's the currency of the digital economy, yung trust. Di ba? AI na lang. Tinest mo yung AI, false yung data, natuto siya sa maling data, boom. You know what will happen to that AI. Diba? Then after trust, you need to sustain it. Tignan naman palagi. Through the 50, which is tenacity. You can call it grit, you can call it adaptability or conviction or commitment. But you have to be tenacious because, na-mention natin, nagkaroon ng bagong encyclical yung Magnifica
Pope Leo.
Ni Pope Leo, Humanitas, no? Yung Magnificent Humanity. Pope Leo echoes yung Rerum Novarum ni Pope Leo XIII, yung namesake niya, no? Rerum Novarum address the impact of the Industrial Revolution to humanity. At that time, walang weekend Saka trabaho ka hanggang mamatay ka. Sorry, that's the
talaga,
extreme,
no?
But si Pope Leo XIII says na yung human dignity is higher than work. But right now, you have his namesake, Pope Leo XIV, a mathematician, first US Pope, saying that AI, needs to have a conscience. Yun ang understanding ko. It has to be ethical. And it's surprising na the Catholic Church is stepping up. Kasi you wouldn't expect big business or the big tech companies, di ba, to rein in AI.
Of course, yes.
Di ba? By themselves. Well, Anthropic is different. Nag-know sila dun sa US Defense. Because, and yung surveillance ng Americans, so know sila doon. So kaya nga nandun sila That's why Anthropic is there. So yun, tenacity nila. There will still be more threats coming in tech. Alam natin yan. Wala pa yung quantum hacks dito, di ba? Melvin Jing, no? Well, meron na. We're seeing it already sa reports. Yung mga quantum hacks ng lumalabas. I don't know kung validated. Well, it's coming. I mean, yung security natin in the future, it can be, in the blink of an eye, it can be wiped out. Because there's invest sa quantum yung mga bad guys, no? And even rogue states or threat actors, state threat actors. So, it's a whole process. Kaya if you will want to be in your comfort zone, sayang naman yung talent na binigay sa'yo, di ba, ng creator, to help others. So, that's why, sarap mag-retire. Mag-games hold din na, but
Mukhang hindi pa sa panahon na to.
There will be accountability whether you believe in the afterlife or not, no? There will be accountability. And you know it, that your whole being is asking you to share something of yourself so that humanity will be better.
That's true.
So, if you will ignore that, you will have a very miserable life. if you say no to the call of nature or creation, that help us because you have this talent given to you, so that you will inherit a better world. So that's what's driving me. I know it's driving both of you also. This is also a pro bono work.
Yeah.
But we need more people like you who can see that we need to fight against evil forces in the world.
Oo, especially now in the digital realm, talagang nandyan talaga sila.
Who are out to get us, they're out to get our resources. Sometimes they want to hit our reputation, etc.
Yes.
So, and they're stealing the future of our kids.
So how can people approach NADPOP and
So
CyberBayan?
we're on
tayo.
LinkedIn and Facebook. So look for NADPOP and PH search on Facebook and LinkedIn. NADPOP and PH-CERT and CyberBayan. It's one word, capital C, capital B. We're also on LinkedIn and Facebook. Websites still being done. So there's a relaunch, lalabas yun. Or I can post my email in the comments once this shows para they can contact me directly. And again, maraming salamat sa inyo. Sana hindi itong 10 years in the making to, baka sa 2036 tayo magkita.
Oo. 10 years na rin naman ng Tech Sabado.
Baka cyborg na tayo.
Cyborg na tayo. AI na yung nag-show. Ethical AI.
Yes, dapat lang. Yan, salamat. Batiin ko lang aking wife sa tatlong kids. No?
Ellie.
They're watching now. Comment naman kayo. Okay? And this is for you and the future generation of Filipinos. Who I believe will be part of the first world digital Philippines, no?
Yes.
Sarap nun. Yung per capita natin nun, matindi. Sa tingin ko.
Very ambitious pero kailangan natin gawin kasi kung wala tayong ambisyon, wala namang mangyayari. Yes. Kung hindi, parating kulelat tayo. Yun na nga, no? Nakita mo yung post ni Ana. Kulelat ang Pilipinas on everything. Sa Asia lang, Sa Asia pa lang,
And yun nga, before I go, no? We are the chair of ASEAN this year. And the ASEAN Digital Framework is going to be signed in November. It's the first of its kind. Na-report mo natin to Melvs, no? Na agreement among countries. That again opens up another inflection point that we cannot rest on our laurels.
No.
Kasi yung digital market natin will expand in ASEAN and it will have its own complications. But it will also have its own opportunities.
Yeah.
So watch out for that. By November yata yung signing ASEAN Digital Economic Framework. So I think si Dito Villanueva, our good friends, the one championing for tech. So hopefully we can be part of that also. So yan, siguro next topic nyo, dalhin nyo dito si
Fintech Alliance.
Fintech Alliance. So, sila yung nakatimon doon. Pero we hope to be part of that also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sam Jacoba. Yan po ang Tech Sabado ngayong linggo. Attorney.
Okay, maraming pong salamat sa ating venue host for tonight. Dito po kami sa Galleria Lagman. And of course, we'd like to thank our collaborators, as usual, si J.R. Contreras and his Angels, Limang Siglo. Ayun. And of course, kita-kita po ulit tayo next week, Jing.
Yes. Thank you, Sam. Convener po ng NADPOP and CyberBayan for guesting tonight. And ang dami na naman natin natutunan. And hopefully, marami rin kayong nalaman regarding our cybersecurity and data privacy resilience ng ating bansa. And of course, kung ano po dapat natin gawin. Jing Garcia po ng TechSabado.com and of course, the Manila Times. Magandang gabi po sa inyo lahat. Until next week. Goodbye!